Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into the Packers Total Access pregame show. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk Packers Bears as we're roughly an hour and 20 minutes away from kickoff. We're keeping an eye on this Washington Commanders Philadelphia Eagles game. Commanders are currently leading 10-7 over those 9-5 Eagles. All of a sudden, the Dallas Cowboys are going, oh, hold up a minute. We might be able to slip into the playoffs. So it's a beautiful time of the year. Obviously, every game counts. And this is where playoff, I don't want to say locks, but playoff teams end up falling out of the race, and teams that you thought didn't have a chance somehow sneak in. It's an exciting time for sure. So we're going to take you guys all the way up to kickoff, obviously. We're going to talk about the inactives list. We just had those released. We'll talk about kind of the breakdown of the game, what we expect both on offense and defense for the Green Bay Packers, and give you everything that you need here as we get ready for the Packers-Bears latest installment of the league's most storied rivalry. Before we get into it, if you would, do that YouTube stuff for us. Hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your pregame festivities. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on a daily basis. So if you're looking for a channel to tune into that goes live multiple times a day, giving you the latest breaking Packers news and film analysis and pregame shows and postgame shows, make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you know every time we do hit that go live button. Tim, Jacob, how we feeling tonight, boys? It's Packers Bears, man. It don't get any better than this.
Let's go. The Bears still suck. Always have, always will. Prime time, Saturday night football. Let's go.
Yep. Brett Carlson said it best.
What?
Brett Carlson says it best. PTA going BTA tonight, fellas. Let's go.
That belt to ass, man. We need that in our life right there. You kidding me? Got the Eagles driving here, 3:32 left in the third quarter. Jalen scrambles right, throws, touchdown to Goddard. The Eagles now lead. That lasted long, didn't it? So we'll see how that game unfolds and keep you guys up to date. All right, let's talk about the actives. And actually, before we get into the actives and inactives, just go around the horn one time, all right? Maybe anything that's on the forefront of your all's mind going into this game against the Bears, maybe a positive, maybe a negative, something you're excited about, something you're worried about. I know the players that are active off of that potential injury report probably going to lead the way here, but I just want to open the floor in case you guys got anything before we get into that.
Go ahead, Jacob. What do you got?
I guess I'm just consistent that I think that the game plan needs to be to force Caleb to actually be an NFL quarterback, be a pocket quarterback, whatever that takes. We've talked about the cage rush and trying to limit him and just, take away the running game. That's my biggest thing right now. But I like, what you just highlighted there. I think that emotions are going to be running really high right now. And a lot of times when we're on the road, we come out and we're not very aggressive. I think that if we can't get a fire under our butt for this one right here, we got no chance for the rest of the season. I think that that's not going to happen. I think the dudes are going to absolutely be coming out of here livid. This rivalry, especially being so fresh. I mean, 2 weeks, these guys don't forget much in that amount of time. If anything, there's probably a lot of grudges that are still festering below the skin that they can't wait to itch and scratch open. You know what I mean, Tim?
I don't know, man. You talk about scratching and itching. There's something going around the Bears locker room this week, I heard, too. So I'm just saying. Tim, you never know, man. What do they say? Wear the shampoo for 2 weeks? That's what I've heard. So you got to do what you got to do out there.
Better make it 3.
Yeah, better make it 3 with,
Jacob speaks from experience.
Anything you got, Tim?
Yeah, but I mean, in all seriousness, I think, looking at how our secondary played last week, I think, both Keyshawn and CV, them boys want to get right. And this is a prime opportunity for a get right game for our secondary. I know we're a little banged up. Evan Williams not playing tonight, but I'm looking for good games out of CV and Keyshawn Nixon. And Javon Bullard tonight, for that matter. The Bears are banged up too, especially in the receiver room. So good opportunity for our secondary to get after it tonight and get right here.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go through the chat real quick, see what everybody's saying. Andy Dubs in the house says, keep emotions in check. Amen to that, man. No personal foul penalties tonight, please, Keyshawn. Let's just kind of keep everything under wraps here, right? Now, obviously, Luther Burden's not going to be playing in this game. He was ruled out earlier in the week. He's the one who kind of provoked that whole thing, grabbing Keyshawn by the throat and not getting penalized, which, by the way, isn't it awesome, guys, that you remember last week the Denver defensive player shoved Jordan Love's head into the turf as he was getting up off the ground there on the sideline, and there was no flag. Guess what? He got fined just like Burden did. No penalty on the – imagine that, right?
I hate that, right? Do you hate that too? I mean, personally, I hate that. I'd rather have the 15-yard personal foul
absolutely.
in the game. Like, screw your $10,000 fine to a guy that's a drop in the bucket. It doesn't do anything.
I don't want to go on a rant here, right? Because we got a game to cover. But yeah, I'm with you, Tim. It's like it's just awful damn convenient. I actually went back and combed through Twitter, just did a quick little search engine, tab or whatever. And this happened against the Eagles last year too. Remember the guy, Oren Burks, got fined for helmet to helmet, leading with the crown, but there was no penalty on the field. It just seems like this always happens. That you look up and go, damn, that play changed the course of the game. If we'd had our 15 yards, that again. You had the one against Luther Burden the week before, right? Luther Burden grabs Keyshawn by the throat. They throw a flag on Keyshawn, and then they come back out and go, yeah, we screwed up. Sorry, Luther Burden, you're fine. It's like, and Keyshawn wasn't fine, which tells you Keyshawn did nothing wrong. So, yeah, it's just it's weird. Again, in a time where I keep trying to bury the whole, it's just the entertainment, it's fixed and this and that. Boy, they make it awful damn hard nowadays. They really do. So, but I completely agree, Andy. Keep emotions in check. That's what I'm going to try to do this evening, man. Jesse Shervin says in the chat, "Stop the run, we win the game." I think that's a really good point. And again, I'm going to assume we'll get to the entire list in a minute. I was trying to see if we knew whether or not. Yeah, so it looks like that Swift will be active. He was a little banged up this week. They're running back with Manungai. But, yeah, that should be the game plan there. Stop the run, we win the game. And, again, we seen that last time, right, Jacob? Like, we went into that game. You stopped their run handily. The Bears fans all week long thought they were just going to run all over our asses. Like, Bub, this ain't the New York Giants run defense, right? You shut the run down. Caleb was horrible in the first half. Then you start to go kind of in a little more of a shell in the second half, and they battle back, and it takes the last play of the game to pick Caleb off. I love that Bears fans, too, are refusing to acknowledge, Jacob, that Caleb Williams throws the game-losing interception in the end zone, and you would have thought he played like a superstar. And he was, 48% completion percentage there in the first half. Last I checked, I think he might have crept up into the 50 percentile by the time the halftime had arrived.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. And honestly, we controlled that whole half of that game, to your point, too. That couldn't get the run game going. It wasn't until the second half where they kind of started to click offensively. That's something that if we do get out to a strong start today, we need to, especially being on the road, we need to have a more of an aggressive kind of finish him mentality. Not that, that I don't think it's, I hate the old cliche, they lift their foot off the gas kind of thing. But in a division rival like this, with so much on the line, the NFC North on the line, playoff rankings that could be crazy detrimental if we don't win this game. I just want us to be aggressive consistently through all four quarters. And then, if we happen to come out and if we put Caleb in a position again where he has to be a pocket quarterback, I think that's going to be key. Take away the ability for them. If we can get up 2 or 3 scores and kind of just force him to, one, have to pass to get back into it, and two, if we can, attack him with a type of disciplined defense where we force him where he's not able to do that stupid, he looks like he's so chaotic when he's running around out there, but for whatever reason he does have the arm talent to be able to just basically throw a dot across his body, falling over. He is, Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers-esque in that way. So you have to respect that type of talent, but at the same time, let's put him in a position to actually be an NFL drop back quarterback and see how it works when he has to hit his third read.
Yeah. I love what Crystal says here too. She said, I just got into an argument at the store over J-Love being a better quarterback than Caleb.
That must have been a quick argument.
Yeah. Crystal in there stomping somebody's ass in the cereal aisle. I love it, man. That's what I'm talking about, right? That's what you need on game day for sure. So, yeah, and it's not even close. I mean, you see Jordan Love's in the MVP conversation every single week. Last I checked, he was the second highest graded quarterback according to PFF. Bears fans go, oh, what's that matter? Okay. He's leading the league in EPA per dropback. Oh, what's that matter? Okay. Caleb is in the 50s in terms of adjusted completion percentage, meaning there's half of the league's backups have a higher adjusted completion percentage than Caleb Williams, but somehow he's better than Jordan Love, who is one of the most efficient passers in the game. It's just funny how that happens there. So Artie Ironminer says, Posse, let's go. Single digits here, 40-mile-an-hour gusts. How's the wind in Gary? The Gary Berries. coming to a city near you, coming to a rundown city near you, I guess you could say. Reza.
Get ready to go.
I'm saying that right. It's going to be a great game overall. It's still go, Pack, go. Amen to that. And then Chase Green in the house. Clayton, do you want to see more cover 3 or cover 2 this game? That's a great question, Chase. I personally would like to see cover 2 if you're making me choose between cover 3 and cover 2, because I don't think Caleb has the patience to step up in the pocket and hammer the seam. I think if you take that first read away, right, and we play that cover 2 sink or Tampa 2, in both cases, you get a little more depth. You get kind of that V shape down the center of the field with the cover 2 sink. And then, of course, with the Tampa 2, you get the Mike backer flipping his hips and running with the 2 or the 3 that goes vertical down the seam, right? You got Quay back. He's healthy. You like your chances of him covering the seam. I would go cover 2 because, again, Caleb is looking to ball snapped, first read, oh, crap, I've got to scramble, right? So if the first read isn't there and he has to check that thing down, or not even check that thing down, but try to create, a secondary window to throw in, and you've got an extra defender underneath as opposed to an extra defender third deep, I like our chances there. Also, Roma Dunze is their best receiver, according to the analytics and the statistics, right? Their second best receiver is DJ Moore. DJ Moore can hit you deep, but he's more of that guy that's underneath, intermediate, right, Tim? He's going to get the yak and that type of thing. Tough player, great player. I love DJ Moore. I think he's a good football player. But they're also out Luther Burden. That's been their third best receiver. So I think what they'll probably do, Chase, is they'll press into more 12 personnel and try to run the ball and play action out of that with boot action, things like that. So cover 2 would be a little more, in tune to shut that down. And Tim, the one thing we got to watch for is Colston Loveland. Obviously, everybody's got to acknowledge Colston Loveland is a great football player. He's going to be one of the best tight ends in the league. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and you look for the Bears to utilize him, right? Whether that's off the running game, you see him in pass pro, you see him run blocking, and you see him as a receiving threat as well. And you have to account for him, and really Cole Kmet for that matter, in the same respect. So. I'm with you. I was saying last night I'd like to see some cover 3 buzz, maybe some cloud here and there. But now, the more I look at this, now that we have the actives and inactives, it's like, you're right, man. Cover 2, probably the better approach because it leaves you less susceptible to getting gashed in the run fit and then, giving you the opportunity to defend against the pass when you need to. So.
Nate McSwain, no tight end talk. It makes me miss Tucker. That's a great point there. Now, level 2 for this says Bears fans crying about being injured is richer than Bisaccia. I see what you did there.
Nice wordplay, bro.
Very nice.
Yeah. You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Perfect drop. Perfect timing, Tim. All right, so the first news of the day here in terms of the injury, this is great news. Josh Jacobs, I said, will not be denied, quote, tweeting Bill Huber. Bill Huber says, I don't know where it came from originally, but I heard twice on the way here that Jacobs was closer to doubtful than questionable. Of course, he's playing just like he said. Josh Jacobs was what a damn national treasure. This dude goes out there hurt every single week. He will not be denied. He's going to play, and we're going to need him tonight. I believe that.
Yeah, I believe so. And it's, I don't know if it's a blessing and a curse of how much this dude just will not take no for an answer. I'm sure that there are lesser running backs, probably even, running backs that consider themselves in the same caliber as Josh Jacobs that would gladly sit out quite a few different games, maybe quote unquote save his body for later in the stretch and into the playoff run. He just doesn't seem like he cares about that. He just wants to help his team every single week in and week out. And when you talked about a guy at the end of last season that said we talked about him, Tuck Norris, about how they were going to be the leaders going forward, and they absolutely have done that. Even that Tucker's hurt, a guy like Jacobs just comes out and it seems like he's taken this captain role and the leadership role very, very seriously. Just real quick, his prize picks just ticked down a few notches. He was at a 60 flat. Now they have his over under at 58.5. Not sure what I think about that.
I think if he's in pads, that's going to help your team, right? He's active. Yeah. He's on the sideline. I would anticipate he's going to be on a snap count again. I mean, considering what we're dealing with the knee and everything, but the fact that he's good to go and he's going to grit through it is going to help pick this team up. We're already down a bunch of leaders right now. We need everyone we can get on the field. So I don't know. You said 56 on the rushing yards. Is that what
58.5 now?
Yeah. Over. Josh is going to get us at least 60 plus.
He had that 40-yard run last week, right?
Yep.
And Matt, Josh Jacobs talked about this. Him and Coach LaFleur have been going at it. They've been butting heads because Coach LaFleur is trying to hold him out more, and Josh keeps fighting like hell to get in the game. But Chicago is currently ranked 29th in rushing defense, giving up 5 yards per carry. To put that into perspective, over the last 3 games, they've only been giving up 4.3, however. Okay, so on the year, 5 yards a carry allowed. The last 3, 4.3. If you were to just take that 4.3 and throw it into the yearly average, like, okay, over the last 3 weeks, here's what they've done, that would put them ranked 16th. So even taking their better number there, they're still middle of the pack in terms of rush defense. So I think I would hit that over too, Jacob. Of course, we all know, you guys do your own research if you want to put money on that, obviously, as always. But we know there's a chance that Josh could take a lick on the knee there, and all of a sudden he's out of the game, right? And that screws you out of that over, obviously. But yeah, if you told me he will not miss any snaps in terms of other than what they're scheduled to have him be on a limited snap count, I would say, yeah, hammer that over. I would feel real good about that.
What do you think about this one? If you thought that one was the over, this one to me screams. So Emmanuel Wilson is the only other back we have listed, 24.5 rush yards.
I would hit both of those.
Yeah, I'd slam the over on that.
Yeah, that way one of them, you'll definitely get one of them to hit for sure, right? And you may get them both, to be honest with you. And here's a cool little nugget from Next Gen Stats. Josh Jacobs has 30 scrimmage touchdowns through his first 30 games with the Packers, obviously joining in 2024. That's the 5th most by a veteran through their first 30 games with a new team since 1970. All right, wow. Behind only Marshall Faulk with the Rams, Priest Holmes with the Chiefs, Randy Moss with the Patriots, and Christian McCaffrey with the 49ers. That's some good company to be in right there, man. So Josh Jacobs continuing to light it up for sure. So yeah, I would hit. I feel good about both those overs, Jacob. I really do, because obviously Emmanuel Wilson's number is probably down a little bit because recently he hasn't performed, although most people probably don't realize, and the money sometimes determines how that line goes. Most people don't realize that he was sick last week, right? So something else to take into consideration for sure. Let's look at the entire actives and inactive list here. This is from Bill Huber. This is the Packers inactive list, I should say. Safety Evan Williams. We kind of talked about this earlier in the week. I was very, very vocal. I caught some heat from Packer fans for it in the YouTube comments on the later videos. I said I would sit Evan Williams and Zach Tom if they're less than 100%. That's what the Packers are doing here. Now, listen, it may cost you this game. I'm fully aware of that, and that's the reason it makes it such a tough discussion, a tough decision, obviously. But Evan Williams not being in this game could be huge because he's one of our best run defenders. He'll really buzz down in that box, kind of like what Tim was talking about with the cover 3 look, or if you're playing a pre-snap spur look, he's not afraid to get in that box and do the dirty work. And then, of course, right tackle Zach Tom being out, I think, could be huge as well. So you're going to have to scheme, Tim. You're going to have to get really, really creative tonight, I feel like, and give your guys the upper hand, the advantage. You're going to look to steal a gap in the run game and probably keep an extra pass protector in the block, or let's focus on some mesh concepts. Let's focus on some underneath stuff, some flat curls, things like that, and just get the ball out of Jordan's hand quick. It's not like the Bears have a great pass rush. They take the ball away really, really well. Don't get me wrong. But I think that I think you could win this game without Evan Williams and Zach Tom. The other one, Josh Wiley, is tough for me too because he played a big role in the run game in terms of blocking. So how do you feel about the inactives here, man?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I feel grateful that we have Tupac LaFleur and Shug Hafley, running our offense and our defense, because we're going to have to get creative. And I would anticipate to see, a little bit above average rotation tonight at some of these positions. It's going to be all hands on deck. Obviously, I think Evan Williams and Zach Tom will be the two that we're missing the most, other than Micah Parsons, obviously. And like you said, Josh Wiley being concussed, that's tough. I mean, how many tight ends do we have left? We're losing them left and right, it seems like, but we utilize them all the time in this offense. So I think you're right. You're going to switch up personnel. You're going to switch up looks. And I'm confident that knowing what we were going into for this matchup, that our staff and our players have adjusted. They've watched tape. They've done install. We're not that far removed from the last time we played this team. So let's run it back. We're on the road, banged up or not. The Bears are banged up too. Let's get a dub, man. However we got to do it.
Got a question for you here, Jacob. So Eric Sutherland says Bull are going to bring the wood tonight. You love to see it, right? Greg Rice says Bull at safety or still nickel? ? So How would you guys approach that in terms of Javon Bullard? Would you rather him play nickel and have Zane Anderson playing safety, or would you rather have Nate Hobbs playing nickel and have Javon Bullard playing safety? Because I kind of feel like the money's going to play a little factor there too, right? And who actually sees the field or not.
No disrespect to Nate Hobbs, but I'm keeping Bull at the slot. He's a slot corner. I'd rather have Zane back there. What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, I agree with that. I like the old adage, why make two people play different positions, you know what I mean, or kind of shift up two positions on your defense. I like the way Bull has been playing. I think the biggest knock on him last year was that we moved him around so often. Emilio always constantly brought up how they would, without more than a few hours notice, switch him from safety back down to nickel, back to corner, and he never really got a chance to get comfortable. I think that now you've seen when he can settle into a role, he really starts feeling a little more confident, stops thinking like, we talked about with Halfley, I want these guys just shooting around being human meat missiles, and that's what he's kind of turned into. And plus, like to Tim's point, I trust Zane Anderson. I think I've seen enough out of him that he can come in and fulfill that role. What I liked about him too is kind of like Evan Williams-esque, where he seems like he's not afraid to get up there in the run fits, and that he's kind of preemptive and not waiting. For the years and years and years, I can remember the Mod Carrolls and that type of player where they stop and they just kind of wait for the contact to hit them. Zane, Evan Williams, Bullard, those are the type of DBs that I want, that are just aggressive and go to the ball to make contact. They don't wait for it to come to them. So I agree with Tim. Keep Bull at nickel. Let's bring in our mystery man that does exist, Zane Anderson. Let's get him on the field.
Yeah, and this
I
is
agree
great.
with that. We always talk about Zane being in coverage. Like, he kind of surprised us, as a cover safety. But you're right, Jacob, man. He can play in the box too if you need him to.
No,
and
he's got that special team mentality.
Yep. And we need that, right? We talk about having to attack this Chicago Bears running game, right? So I think Zane's probably the answer.
Yeah. And Greg Rice, to answer your question, I think I would go the route that the guys are saying. I would rather have Zane Anderson at safety and Bull at the nickel. However, what I was referring to is Nate Hobbs being that big free agent acquisition. Yeah. He's as healthy as he's been all year. He wasn't on the injury report all week. I think they'll probably put Nate Hobbs in the slot and Bull at safety is what I would guess they would do. Although, like I said, I would rather at least see a half of Zane back there. And if you go, okay, Zane, he's the truth. He's the real deal. What we seen last year is real. Then you keep him out there. If not, then you can make the adjustment. Of course, I was trying to comb through the practice reports all week, and they didn't leak any info out. I was trying to see where Bull was getting his reps at. But did you guys hear anything there? I know I didn't see anything all week.
No. Coach seems to agree with you, Clay. He says, I want Bull, post safety, and Hobbs in the slot. He also did say that Zane did get some snaps last week. So if they felt good enough, but I don't know where they thought Hobbs was in his recovery type thing at that point. I just don't know, man. Whatever they do, I hope they come out and these guys are fired up, because I just don't want to see people out of place. And it's like, again, because I don't want to have too many playing musical chairs at too many positions on that defense, rather than just having a guy that we know is trusted in that slot. I'd rather just keep him there. That'd be my argument. But
yeah. My mind went to KT Oladapo. Are we going to see any of him at the safety position, given that Williams isn't playing? Like Jen Wright is saying here, Oladapo mixed in. That's where my mind went. But if you look at the tail of the tape here, he's not really playing from scrimmage this year. I think the Packers are content to keep him as a special teamer for right now, which would make sense. If Zane's going to have to play some safety today, then Oladapo hopefully takes some of those special team snaps off of Zane Anderson's plate in this game.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys would smash that like button for us, we would greatly appreciate it. Got a bunch of people tuning in. If you're on X and you want to join the YouTube conversation, just go to YouTube, type in Packers Total Access, and subscribe to the channel there. And make sure you click the bell icon so you know when we go live on YouTube. You can actually see all the YouTube comments in there. But if you want to hang out on Twitter, that's totally cool too. I like what Wendell Ferreira tweeted out here. Evan Williams won't play tonight, but I assume this is a good sign about his availability for the rest of the season. As Scott Grodsky, I hope I'm saying that right, tweeted out, Evan Williams warming up. The Packers have a little less than an hour to set their inactives. Obviously, he's inactive, Evan Williams, but this looks good to me, guys. He looks like this is kind of precautionary, like, hey, let's give him another week. So they're kind of holding him out. Probably the same thing with Zach Tom. Zach Tom might actually be held out until the final week of the season. But Evan Williams, we had down at like 1 to 2 weeks is what we were anticipating. So hopefully he'll be back full strength. I think this looks good. There's nothing here that worries me. I mean, obviously he's wearing the sleeve, but you guys seeing the same thing I'm seeing here? He looks like he's going to be good to go for next week, barring any setbacks.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
All right, there you go.
I mean, honestly, this looks like if it was like, mad playoff game or a Super Bowl or something, I think that he goes. He looks that fluid right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now, another question here that Wendell Ferreira tweeted out. I think this is great. With Kennard active, let's see if it's him or Jordan Morgan at right tackle, because obviously all week long there was reports coming out of practice that they had both of those guys playing right tackle, right, trying to see who they wanted to start. I think I would rather see Kennard at right tackle. That way you've got Jordan Morgan fresh, ready to go if something happens on the left side. If you get an injury with Banksy or obviously Rasheed Walker, Jordan Morgan is more natural on the left side of the line, specifically left tackle. So I think Kennard is already kind of trying to settle into his reps. He's graded out pretty good this year. Last week he had a pretty rough game, but I think I would stick with Kennard at right tackle instead of Jordan Morgan, although I would not be surprised at all, Tim, if we look up at kickoff and there's Jordan Morgan at right tackle, man. You know how they like to try to mix and match there.
Yeah, hopefully not, though. I'm with you, Clay. I still believe Jordan Morgan is a left side of the line type of guy, whether that's tackle or guard. He's better suited for the left side. And, Kennard's already been there. I think you go with Kennard at right tackle.
Got it. What about you, Jacob? What would you go with there, man?
Yeah, I agree. I've not seen anything that impresses me with Jordan Morgan on the right side, whether that be guard or the tackle was really ugly. I just think that he just, like, his footwork and everything we talked about, because he was predominantly left tackle almost his whole career, right? And then all of a sudden we get him in the NFL and we just say, hey, go to the right side, you'll be fine. That to me just doesn't seem, it seems really counterintuitive. So I'm with Tim. Definitely want to see Kennard over there. I just think he's also earned it and shown up in more games and more key situations. And we'll go from there.
Yeah. And again, this Bears defense, what makes them the wild card and really good at times, sometimes great, is their ability to take the ball away. However, sacking the quarterback, they're ranked 21st in the league at 6.2% sack rate when it comes to that. So again, 21st isn't like, bottom three, but it is in the bottom half of the league. So, you kind of like your chances with, in my opinion, Kennard. I feel like Kennard is more of a run blocker than a pass blocker. Jordan Morgan's more of a pass blocker as opposed to a run blocker, right? So kind of feels like, all right, Kennard, put him out there. That way he can help in the run game. You're not as concerned with their pass rush, although I think Sweat sacked Jordan last game, if I remember correctly. I know they sacked him at least one time. But again, you just kind of play the numbers. You kind of play the tendencies. You play the strengths to the weaknesses and this and that. I'd definitely go with Kennard for sure. So going to be interesting either way, though. There's no doubt about that. All right, let's move along now to the rest of the injury report. This is actually got Chicago's inactive list on it. So we'll throw it up on the screen. FFtoday.com tweeted out the inactives for the Bears: Luther Burden III, Rome Odunze, linebacker Ruben Hippolyte, linebacker Amen Ogunamanda, defensive lineman Jonathan Ford, and quarterback Case Keenum. Now, the big thing here that you see this, and a name that goes unnoticed, is their inside linebacker, right? Was it Tremaine Edmonds? I think it is one of their stud stack backers. He is back today, but like Tim pointed out, been out for the last 4 games at least. So probably going to be a little rusty. Again, I think they're better off with him in the ball game. Their stack backers are the strength of this defense too. So that's their inactive list. And obviously the line, as we inch closer to the game, the Bears are still 1.5 point favorites. The over-under is set at 44.5. So what's your all's thoughts on the Bears inactives? I know we kind of covered it a little bit, but how do y'all feel about that?
I mean, last time we played, they were missing Rome Odunze. Now they're missing Rome Odunze and Luther Burden. So, like I said, keep Caleb in that pocket, man. Make him have to read a defense at this level and beat us with his arm. That's my thought. What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, I completely agree, because I'm looking here. Other than Colson Loveland and DJ Moore, it falls off quite quickly. They got Olamide Zacchaeus, whatever that name is, and Devin Duvernay. So I'm not really afraid of that. Oh, and of course, Mr. Tight End, who can forget about Durham Smythe?
Who?
I feel like that if we can limit Caleb again, it's just going to be, he doesn't have as many weapons as he normally does. I would also argue that if anything does happen to that, obviously the stack backers are there. Like you said, that's kind of the main pinpoint of that defense that's been just firing on all cylinders. If any of those guys go down, they're now without their like third, fourth, and fifth linebackers. So there could be actually scraping the bottom of the barrel with some practice squad, maybe some guys off the street. And let's get a shout out for our lost brother in arms, Mr. Jonathan Ford. Sorry, buddy. Sorry you had to go over there to that poop hole.
Sucks, man. Sucks. Hey, that's life. Sounds like life to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Tremaine Edmonds was the linebacker, right, that we were just talking about. Let's pull up his PFF grades on the season here real quick. Because, again, I think they did upgrade getting him back. Now, will he be rusty? Tim, you were right. He's been out since week 11, right? It was the last game he played. So his last 4 games that he's played, starting in week 8, working our way towards week 11, 80.2, 67, 61, 64. So on the season, he's got a 72.1. This is actually his second best graded season of his career. His best came his final year in Buffalo in 2022 at 81.9. And this is on 604 snaps this year. So it's a pretty significant amount of snaps, right? So I think they did get stronger. Run defense grade 85.5. So maybe that's why their run defense has been struggling here lately as well. Although actually we pointed out they were a little bit better the last 3 games, wasn't it? Didn't we talk? We already talked about that in the numbers. So yeah, that's kind of odd, isn't it? He's a higher graded run defender, but it seems like they were giving up less yards per carry, per attempt basis when he was in there. They were giving up more as opposed to the last few games where they've gotten a little bit better. So it's going to be interesting. Again, that's Tremaine Edmonds, one of their key players on defense's back. 6'5", 250 pounds, running 4.5 40. My goodness, dude's a dog. So. going to be 28 at the end of the year, so he's still young too. I don't know what the injury was. I can't remember. I don't have the exact injury report pulled up, but they're definitely getting help back with Tremaine Edmonds. So Jen Wright in the chat says this game is going to be golden. Let's talk Matthew Golden here, man. We broke down the tape last week. He made chalk talk on 2 different plays. He ended up having 3 targets, 3 catches. He also drew a PI down the left sideline, so don't be surprised if you see another shot play or 2. I've been very vocal this week. I hope he gets the majority of the snaps at the X position. Will he? I don't know, because obviously they love and trust, Romeo Dobbs, and that's our tradition. With everybody healthy, how good of a problem is this to have, though, guys? If they do go with Matthew Golden, how cool is it that Romeo Dobbs is waiting in the wings if Matthew Golden gets hurt, and vice versa, right? If you decide he's better prepared, he fits the game plan a little bit better here, right? If you go that route and then he gets banged up, breaks a shoelace or something, has to come out of the game, boom, Matthew Golden's in, and we obviously use a heavy rotation there as well. But I think what you're going to see, Christian Watson at the Z, Jaden Reed at the F, and then you'll have Matthew Golden and Romeo Dobbs kind of mixing and matching at the X. And then, of course, if they need a breather, if Christian needs a breather, Matthew Golden will go straight to Z in his place. If Jaden Reed needs a breather, Matthew Golden will go to F. And if Matthew Golden's on the field because somebody did break a shoelace and you need an extra F, it'll probably, I would imagine, go to Bo Melton as the next F. We haven't even talked about Dontavion Wicks. I mean, we got a pretty damn good receiving core here, boys. Let's talk about Matthew Golden for a second, though. Do you have any kind of over/under for him, Jacob, by chance, Matthew Golden, in terms of draft picks?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. So he is going to be our 5th lowest rated one. Luke Musgrave actually is at 19.5. Matthew Golden's at 16.5. So they feel like his role may be a little bit more diminished. It looks like, just with Christian coming back, and like you said, with having the guys that we kind of tried and true between Jaden Reed and Romeo Dobbs. Dobbs is at 32.5. Jaden Reed 39.5. Our boy Christian Watson 52.5.
Got it. And Chicago's pass defense, according to the rankings right now, they're giving up 7.1 yards per pass attempt. They're ranked 27th in the league. I think I would hit the over on Matthew Golden. And you said Musgrave was 19 yards. Is that right?
You are correct, sir.
I like the over there.
Yeah.
I really do. Because, again, Wiley being out, you think Musgrave's going to be out there a little more often, right?
Yeah, I would. To that point, they also even have an over-under for Mr. Johnny Fitzpatrick at 11.5. And Dontavion's at 13.5.
Damn.
That's one catch. Dontavian, that's one catch for him. You know what I mean?
Hammer the over on everybody. Jordan Love's throwing for 600 yards tonight.
Let's go.
Now, how do you feel about it, Tim, in terms of Golden and just everybody in general, right? And I'm with Jen Wright. I would take the over on that Golden.
Yeah, me too. I think, we talk about how versatile he is as a receiver. This is going to be an opportunity for him to show that, like you said, whether he's, filling in for Scoot or filling in for Bird, switching in the rotation with Rome. Maybe they're both on the field at the same time. We've been waiting all season. This could finally be that game that we really get to see, Matthew Golden get those targets. Like you said, man, you can line him up at different spots on this offense and still get production. I think Scoot's going to be on somewhat of a snap count today. They're, obviously nothing serious with the chest or the shoulder, but they're going to keep an eye on him. Anything contact wise, he'll be quick to come off the field, rotate someone else in. So I think it's an opportunity for Matthew Golden to go off in this game. And I think we're ready for it. I don't know about you guys. I'm ready for it. So yeah, I would smash the over on Matthew Golden, especially for sure.
Yeah, and a cool stat here. Again, we just laid out passing defense, right? Chicago is ranked 27th at 7.1 yards per pass attempt allowed, right? Remember that number, 7.1, okay? Here's a cool little nugget for you. Jordan Love is 4-1 in his career versus the Bears and has averaged 10.0 pass yards per attempt in those games. That's the 5th highest passing yards per attempt by any quarterback versus any opponent in the last 40 seasons.
Jeez.
With at least 5 starts versus that team, of course. The only higher are Lamar Jackson versus the Dolphins, Ryan Tannehill versus the Raiders, Peyton Manning versus the Saints, and Jim Kelly versus the Bengals. Basically, 3 Hall of Famers. 3 of the 4 names mentioned are Hall of Famers in that same group again. Jordan Love, 4-1 in his career versus the Bears, and he's averaged 10 yards per pass attempt in those games. That's 5th highest by any quarterback in the last 40 years. So Jordan Love, and again, the weather, I don't know what the wind's like out there or not. I'll try to do a quick check on that. But Jordan Love, what's his over-under? Let's have a conversation about that. You guys talk about it for a second. I'm going to see if I can get the latest forecast in terms of the wind.
Jordan Love is slated at 233.5 passing yards.
He's a grown-ass man now. And
that's the thing I'd be worried about was how windy and whipping is that wind there.
It is the Windy City. I mean, it's known as the Windy City. Temperature shouldn't be too bad, though. I think it's like high 30s, low 40s or something down there.
So here's the forecast, right? The game's going to kick off at, I guess it's showing my time, so 8 p.m. my time. The wind is going to be 15 mile an hour, 15 mile an hour, 14, and 14. So it's going to be somewhere between 10 to 15 mile an hour winds. That's not horrible, right? Nothing like Texas A&M today. I don't know if you guys seen that. It was 0-0 at halftime. That was crazy. The wind was gusting around down there in the oil fields of Texas. But, yeah, I think I'm kind of feeling good about that. There you go, Cannonball John. You up to 20 mile an hour. So, yeah, I could see that gust of 20, right? But it's
swirl factor, too, in that stadium, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a stone's throw away from Lake Michigan. You're basically, on the lake, and they got that, whatever the hell they did when they tried to remodel that place about a decade ago. So you get a little bit of swirling factor inside the bowl there. So we'll see, man.
Yeah. And again, it's saying 15 on the hourly, but it does say here, small craft advisory remains in effect till 4 a.m. So like you said, Tim, to your point, it could pick up at any moment. There are a couple of snow showers in the vicinity right now. Looks like they're down south towards Indiana, where the Bears will probably end up here before it's all said and done. We got I know this guy. Who is this?
Randy Cleaver.
Randy? Yeah.
Cleaver. All right, yeah.
Randy.
Sort of RSC. We're going to say Randy with the super chat. Thank you, sir. He says 31-21 Packers. I could see that. I think that's a pretty fair score. You know what I could also see, too? People aren't going to like this. I could also see the Bears winning 31-21.
You don't say that.
You don't say that.
That score is kind of that. I could see it kind of falling into that range. Right? I don't think the weather's going to be a huge factor. How do y'all feel about that? What where would you guys put your score prediction? I don't kind of put you on the spot. It's just Randy brung it up here. Thank you for the super, Randy. Appreciate you, buddy.
Tim doesn't like that.
I'll do it just because Randy super chatted. I'm going to go Packers 28, Bears 24.
Oh, boy. Don't do that. I'm going to go 24-17 Packers.
All right. I could see that 24-17. I think it's going to be somewhere in that range for sure. If the Packers go out there and score 31 points, though, I really like our chances of holding the Bears offense to, to enough to win that ball game, obviously, even without
scared money don't make money.
And again, we haven't even really talked about Micah. We talked about it all week long. We haven't talked about it tonight, but when it comes to losing Micah Parsons, it's a huge loss. Don't get me wrong, right? But the fact that this defense was 5th in scoring last year, I mean, just don't sit here and pretend like the defense all of a sudden going to be cheeks, right? I think we're going to be fine. I think you just got to adjust how you play coverage on the backside because you can't plan on Micah getting, pressure on the quarterback 20% of the time, right? So you got to be a little more conservative in that regard. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun for sure. Mike in the chat said, Clayton, you're in timeout. You've been a member for a month. So I've got to go in timeout for a second for saying the Bears could possibly win this game. Appreciate you, Mike. I don't want to say it either. Mandy probably turned the show off downstairs. She's like, what the hell? I live with this guy? What's this guy doing? What are we doing here? So anything else y'all want to hit before we kind of switch gears and hit on some other key statistics? I'm going to comb through X real quick, too, and see if there's anything that's coming down the pipe.
No, I like what Cannonball John's saying. Special teams, let's have a big night tonight. No good field position for Bears. Also, like we talked about the win conditions for the quarterbacks, that's probably going to be the same thing with this kicking game. Really didn't like the way that we kicked the ball off in the first half. I know that's kind of nitpicky, but it seemed like we were giving them weird opportunities to run the ball out, get way better field position than we needed to. So I hope they shore that up a little bit, and we just got to make sure we secure the tackling on both sides, I guess, offense and defense. I just want to see us making form fit tackles, no more of this like arm tackling crap.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Field position is going to be a huge factor in this ball game, and I'd rather see the Bears starting, in between the 20 and the 30 rather than starting damn near at midfield, right? And really the tackling, comment goes both ways. It's not just special teams, but it's on defense. We need to put Chicago in a 3rd and long scenario tonight, not 3rd and 2, not 3rd and 3s like we've seen before. You put this team in a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, you're giving yourself a chance to really win this ball game, and it comes with being fundamentally sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
agreed.
I like what Kieran, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. He makes a great point. I just want us not to beat ourselves. I mean, how many times did we watch that Broncos game and 10 plus times where we just shot ourselves in the foot, whether it be a stupid penalty, a dropped interception, a boneheaded throw, whatever the case may be. It's like and it feels like that we've been talking about that all season about how we're a young team and we got to shore up this and that. And it just doesn't seem like we've played a consistently full, I don't know, no game's ever going to be flawless or perfect. I get that, but we can be, 80, 90% perfect, right? I used to get, 70s in school. I'll take a C.
You think God never farted?
Yeah, no, I completely agree, man. You got to shore up the mistakes, but I talked about it all year, talked about it in the off season. That's why I took that deep sigh when it's okay. The Packers are the youngest team in the league again. You know what that means? It's going to be penalties. There's going to be young player mistakes, right? It's just it's going to happen. Chuck Jaggers, amen. Stop the stupid shoulder tackle. Got to wrap up, right? Got to put your face in the fan, Chuck. Got to put your face in the fan. And look at this guy right here. We know he's going to put his face in the fan. Josh Jacobs out there warming up. He looks good, boys. Take a good look at the knee here. How we feeling about it? Looking all right, right?
Oh, yeah.
He is a G.
It's a clean fit he's got on. I know that, man. I need a hoodie. I need everything there. I need a headset. I need all of it.
Hey, I'll tell you what, whether we get 20, 30, 40 snaps out of him tonight, they're all going to be quality. And he's going to give us everything he's got out there. Glad he's playing.
No doubt about that. No doubt about it. All right. Let's see here. Anything else, boys, that y'all want to hit? I'm going to go back to the next gen stats here. I got a couple of little nuggets. Let's talk Caleb Williams for a second, okay?
I was just going to
go ahead, Jake.
I was just going to say he's only slated at 206.5. However, when you look at his rushing yards, they got him at 17.5. Unfortunately, I think I would try to smash that over just because he just seems so slippery lately. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Here's a cool nugget. This is from Next Gen Stats. Caleb Williams has a 58 completion percentage in 2025, the second lowest among qualified quarterbacks in 2025, behind J.J. McCarthy.
Nice.
It is also the lowest completion percentage by a quarterback with 10-plus quarterback wins in a season since Andrew Luck. 54.1 was his completion percentage in 2012. So it's good company to be in, but at the same time, they do figure out a way to win ball games. Tim, if you can't throw the football accurately, you better be able to run it, and Caleb can run it. And there's no doubt he's definitely made a difference with the Bears throwing on the run, but also picking up those key yards with his legs on the ground, man.
Yeah, and it's weird. He's more accurate on the run, right? You put him in the pocket, let him hitch and, ball pat and read a defense, and his accuracy goes down. The minute he rolls right, especially to his right, he's able to be deadly, and I think that's what we talked about all week, right? Cage rush, touch spy, keep it in front of you. I'm okay with giving up the underneath crap. I just hate to see us getting lit up again with a mobile quarterback making us pay, so you got to really be on your P's and Q's defensively today. Because Caleb will make you pay, I mean, we talk a lot of trash, right? We're always going to talk trash about the Chicago Bears, especially their quarterbacks. My goodness, my entire lifetime quarterback play in Chicago has been ass, and it will always be ass. But I think they got him one in Caleb. It's just the fact that I just don't think he's processing the game where he should be. And that can work to our advantage if we don't let him wiggle out there and get mobile. Keep him in that pocket today.
Got a fight over here on the Eagles-Commanders game. The Eagles are up 29-10 now. Commanders said, all right, let's just go out there and fight since we can't win this game. Let's just start fighting.
Real quick on that Caleb Williams discussion, I did listen to a pod today, and they were talking about how his last game was the first game all season that he had over a 60% completion percentage. He's been living in the 40s and 50s all year. So he, and he gets bailed out by his defense more than any other quarterback in the league right now. Keep that in mind too. So if they sputter a little bit and he actually, again, I just want to see him actually put the game on his shoulders and be a pocket, type quarterback that has to, again, read his first and second and third reads, that has to not dance around like a freaking, he plays college football still in the pros, and he's getting away with it because of a lot of different circumstances. I think tonight that stops.
Yeah, that's going to be on our defense.
Exactly.
That, right? Like how we approach this game is going to determine, how they're going to respond. And it's on us, man. Keep him in the well all night.
Here's another stat for you from Next Gen Stats. Caleb Williams and the Packers defense. Caleb Williams scrambled, run or pass, okay, just meaning he scrambled, on 12 of his 39 dropbacks in Week 14 against the Packers. The most scrambles the Packers defense has faced in a game this season. Of those plays, he completed 3 of 9 passes for 62 yards and 3 first downs, while adding 3 carries for 13 yards and 2 first downs. Through 15 weeks, the Packers defense has allowed just 129 rushing yards on scrambles, tied with the Panthers for the fewest in the NFL. Through the air, they have allowed 312 passing yards on scrambles, the third most in the NFL. In Week 15, they allowed a 20-yard touchdown pass from Bo Nix to Michael Bandy, their first such touchdown conceded under Jeff Hafley dating back to last season. So again, you can look at that statistic a number of different ways. We're pretty good against scrambling quarterbacks, although they're passing the ball better on us rather than actually running with the football. Maybe you lean a little more on the plaster side in coverage as opposed to attack the quarterback when he runs, you know what I'm saying? And try to make him run with the football when you get in those situations. Because again, that is something that he was able to. I know 3 of 9 isn't a great, completion percentage, but that happened. All 3 of those plays happened on third down. That's huge that he's creating that secondary window. What it tells me too is Jeff Hafley did a hell of a job scheming up, taking away the first and second read probably from the Bears in that Week 14 meeting. So something to kind of keep an eye on there. Another stat, real quick here. Week 16 will be just the fourth Packers-Bears matchup in the Super Bowl era in which both teams entered the game in the playoff picture in the last 3 weeks of the season. The previous 3 took place in 2010, 2012, and 2020, and the Packers won all 3 of those games. So
we all remember that 2010 run, don't we?
I do remember that.
Yes, sir.
Jacob's running around down there on Broad Street in downtown Nashville with his shirt off is what I heard. Is that true, Jacob? Is that true?
No.
I'm not gonna lie, I was faded. I ain't gonna lie, I was faded. Like,
it was my pants. No.
Get it right. I don't have that enough. I don't have that much confidence to run around with my shirt off. I did it with my pants Bears offense. The Bears offense has recorded a 48.7% success rate on design runs in the second half of games this season, the second highest rate in the NFL, trailing only the Rams at 50.3%. They have averaged 1.6 rushing yards before contact per design run in the second half, the fifth most in the NFL. Both Kyle Monangai at 49.3% and DeAndre Swift at 49.0% have recorded the fourth highest and fifth highest rushing success rates, respectively, in the second half of games among running backs with at least 50 such carries. So, again, man, stop the run, stop the run, stop the freaking run. That should be the name of the game tonight. Montez Sweat, one more here. What time is it? We're at the 49-minute mark. Yeah, we're doing good, right? We're doing good. One more for you, and I'll get your all's take on this one. Montez Sweat, obviously, is their best pass rusher. Montez Sweat leads the Bears with 41 pressures this season, including 4 turnovers that led to a strip, sack, fumble, or an interception, tied with 7 other defenders for the most in the NFL. However, Sweat has recorded each of his pressures in 3.42 seconds after the snap on average, the third longest mark among edge defenders. As a team, the Bears have recorded an average time to pressure of 2.92 seconds, longest in the NFL. So, Jacob, what that tells you is that Montez Sweat, the numbers look really good, but it's taken almost 3.5 seconds for him to get to the quarterback. It's not like he's just in the backfield immediately, right? So you got to get that ball out of your hand for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at the PFF grades. That defensive line, while there are some quote-unquote maybe names that people know and maybe think that just means that it equates to them being good, they were all in the 50s and low 60s, I believe. So we have an opportunity. Granted, our guys on the opposite side aren't playing necessarily the best offensive line ball as well. But to Emilio's point, when we were watching some of these Chalk Talk clips, just die a little slower death. You guys have to try to just remember where you are. And if you're Aaron Banks and if you're not guarding anybody, let's maybe shuffle to the right or to the left and try to see if we can just put a hand on a guy, give him a half second, a split second was all it took between Jordan Love sailing that ball just a little bit deep and getting that interception, you know what I mean? Or maybe laying a guy out that's not having to take a hit that he shouldn't have to take kind of thing. So this is all obviously a team game. We can't ask Jordan Love to put this game on his back without having just a couple more seconds where he can develop, down to his hitch, being able to have the follow through, having the confidence in that offensive line where he doesn't feel like he has to rush the play and force the pass. If we can do that, I think that we have a lot of things working in our favor tonight.
Yeah.
When in doubt, hold. Grab him. When in doubt, just hold.
I'm with you, Tim.
All the guys, they should be wearing darker gloves tonight. We're on the road. The Bears got the darker uniforms, dark gloves. Grab when you can. Let's put the theory to the test. Make the dirtbags call the penalties tonight.
Amen.
Speaking of which, dirtbag watch, we got Alex Kemp tonight.
Oh, look at this dirtbag.
We all know this guy loves the flags and he loves the screen time. So,
Tim, that was got me a little nervous there. Lord, let me get a sip on that.
Enunciate hell, brother. We just crossed over 700. Can you guys hit that like and share button there, bud?
Yeah, let me get him off the screen so they have something.
So we don't get him.
He just looks like a dirtbag.
He is a dirtbag. Look at this guy.
He looks like he'd play a villain in a movie. You know what I mean?
It's like he played something in a movie. Listen, I'll tell you this. You're going to hear me yelling all the way down here in Tennessee. If all of a sudden the first game that Micah Parsons is not on the field, they start calling holds, I'm going to lose my freaking. I would be so mad, dude. So mad. And speaking of that, here is the latest on the offensive line. Rob Domofsky confirmed in warm-ups, Jordan Morgan is starting at right tackle. So tonight's offensive line will be from left to right. Rasheed Walker, Aaron Banks, Sean Ryan, Anthony Belton, and Jordan Morgan. I'll tell you what this does say, though, boys. Think about this. We didn't talk about this earlier. Again, I thought this would happen, although I wanted Kennard at right tackle, right? But what it tells you is Josh Wiley's out. You're going to be seeing some Y/U70. Yeah. You're going to have Kennard out there as the extra tight end. We're about to run the damn rock. That's what we're about to do now, boy. That's about to happen. And don't be surprised if you see a shot player or two to Christian Watson and Matthew Golden. That's what I think. What do y'all think about this offensive line here? We called it, although we didn't want to call it. You know what I mean? No surprise for me, Tim, that they're putting Jordan Morgan out there at right tackle. But like Jen Wright says here, you're going to see Kennard playing that Y70 look tonight, I believe.
Yeah, and no surprise that no moving on from Aaron Banks, right? We made that move. That's his spot, I guess, right? despite what we've seen on tape the last couple of weeks, right?
It is, Tim. It is. It's I don't know if he's got pictures of Goody somewhere or something, but yeah, he's he gonna be playing left guard. Maybe he was in the files today. I don't know. You never know about these things. So, Jacob, how you feel about that offensive line, man?
I don't know. If I had my druthers, I'd be putting Kennard there, but to the point everybody's making, he's kind of going to be that U package, whatever you want to call it, third tight end. I saw somebody in here saying they think they're going to rotate Goody's booties.
Goody's booties, disrespect.
J. Cole thinking that they will rotate, do a lot of rotating. And if that's the case, I honestly don't like that either. Like, I hate when they were rotating the guards and stuff, to the same reason that I mentioned about Bullard never being able to find a spot because you keep moving him around. It's the same thing on the offensive line, especially when you're, again, taking a guy that's predominantly played his whole career on the left side, throwing him on the right side, and let's try this guy here. Let's try this guy here in the first half and in the second half. I've never understood that type of mentality, but I'm not a coach. Obviously, you guys know that.
Yeah, I hope we're wrong, and Jordan Morgan.
Yeah, I hope he crushes it. I hope he crushes it
tonight, and hopefully Aaron Banks has a get-right game, plays good. Like you said, there's going to be an emphasis to pound the rock, get the run game going, and we haven't seen it in a while. I'd love to see our O-line play some smash-mouth bully football there in the trenches. Get downhill and run block today. Let's go.
Yep. I agree, man. I agree. Ryan Wood on X says Soldier Field is still filling up 30 minutes before kickoff, but already enough Bears fans here to give Packers a hearty boo as they head back to the locker room after warm-ups. This place might be rocking tonight in a way it hasn't been for this rivalry over the past decade. I kind of expected that, to be honest with you. I expect this place to be rowdy, and I want to hear them go quiet really, really early, boys, really early. So, and by the way, our boy Matthew Golden just showed up to the stadium, or he did earlier. He didn't just now show up. I apologize. Everybody go, what are you talking about? Look at this fit right here, boys. I don't know, Tim, am I wrong, man? This kind of give me a little West Coast gangster rap from the 90s feel here, dude.
Here's the guy.
Ooh, kind of looks like a bandana or something, don't it? What do we got here?
Bandana.
Yeah, you know what side he's rolling with if you're going with that reference, right? For sure. But yeah, it does. It kind of looks like a bandana. I like that. Rocking the red. I love it.
Yeah. See what Packer Doug said here. Jacob, exactly like Brian Balaga said, asking a right side guy to play the left side is like asking a guy who wipes his cheeks with the right hand to wipe with the left. That was an old Balaga got it from Josh Sitton. Josh Sitton said that in a locker room press conference one time. They said, "You don't know how difficult it is. Go home and wipe your ass with the other hand tonight." That's what he said.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
Always. And as Randy says here, Matthew Golden feeling it. I think he is going to get a touchdown tonight, boys. I think tonight's the night. I really do. It's going to be a good night.
He is a G.
All right. Anything else? Boys, anything else y'all want to hit on before we wrap this big bear up here, man?
Mm-hmm.
Covered quite a bit.
No, I think we got the game plan. I think that we had the pieces. I'm a little surprised again about that Morgan thing. I wonder if that is an indication on the opposite side if Hobbs is going to be playing corner or slot, and then we're throwing Bull back into the safety position. I wonder what that shakeup's going to be, if they're going to try to, I don't want to say go all in on the chips they cashed in for getting those free agents, but I wonder if that's an indication. Obviously, I don't want that one either. So I'll probably be wrong on both counts, and then it'll probably come back to show that I don't know what I'm talking about. And I hope that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, if that does happen, I got to be honest, devil's advocate, I kind of would like to see Bullard playing some safety because, we talked about his coverage skills improving. This might be an opportunity. Banged up receiver core for the Bears. We're a little banged up. Why not? I know I said in the top of the show I'd rather see Bullard in the slot, but we know Nate Hobbs can play the slot. And Clayton, to your point, Hobbs is probably as healthy as he's been since putting on the green and gold. Why not throw him out there? And, maybe you're rotating Bullard and Evan Williams, or excuse me, Bullard and Zane Anderson opposite McKinney there in the safety room. So time will tell. Got less than a half hour to kick off. We'll see what happens.
Respect Orange just says Rashawn Gary's favorite reindeer isn't Rudolph, it's Blitzen. Ooh.
Oh, I see what he did.
Oh, I see what he did there. Last stat of the night here from NFL Pro. All right, you ready for this? Where's it at? The Packers have 15 primetime wins versus the Bears since 2000, the most of any team versus any opponent in that span. Week 16 will be the 212th Packers-Bears matchup all time, including playoffs, and the Packers have 109 wins versus the Bears, the most by any team versus any opponent in NFL history.
Belt to ass. BTA. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I think that's it, man. I appreciate the chat. This was fun. I'm glad everybody got.
Jerry's sliding in at the last second here with a big old dono.
Oh, it is.
Happy holidays, everyone. All I want for Christmas is a victory.
Amen.
Jerry,
I hope. I'll tell you this, Jerry. If the Packers don't get a dub tonight, I'm going to take that spot that you just donated, that 50 spot, and we'll give it to a charity. How about that? All right. If the Packers win, we'll put it into the PTA piggy bank. But we greatly appreciate that. Happy holidays to you and everybody else. Like I said, if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever it is. Hopefully everybody has an awesome holiday season. And I'm with Jerry. We need this win tonight, man. This will be fun. If you can go out there and beat the Bears, take over the North, and you're as banged up as you are, you're feeling pretty good about a playoff push.
We got a great charity.
Thank you, Jerry, for the 50 spot too. I think what she's saying is that's how much we're going to beat the Bears by. We're gonna win by 50.
I love it.
Yeah.
There you go.
We got a great charity. If we do end up, God forbid, losing, I think that we'd like to be a part of it. It's from the Oval Office. It's Toys for Tatas.
This guy right here, Tim. See, Jerry comes in here being generous, and Jacob just get out of here, Jacob. We're kicking
trying
you
to
out.
Save the children.
Get out of here. How about that? Put him in timeout. Nah, Jerry, thank you so much for the dono. We appreciate you for sure. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. If you guys would hit that like button on the way out the door, we greatly appreciate it. We will be back for the PTA postgame show. Win, lose, or draw, we'll be in here talking about everything that happened. I think we got a couple screen grabs from earlier this week, too, in case those Bears fans, in case the Packers do somehow, some way come out with a dub in this game. We got a couple of recibos that we could share, I believe. I'm sure we got a couple stashed away for I know we were bookmarking all kinds of stuff on X this week. They seem to be really, really confident that they got this one in the bag. So we'll see how it all unfolds. So thanks, everybody in the chat. Like I said, smash that like button. We'll see you in the post-game show. My name's Clayton. That's Tim. That's Jacob. This is the PTA pregame show. We appreciate y'all making us part of your festivities. We'll see you on the postgame show. Bye. Thanks again, Jerry. We appreciate you.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.